Well, if it looks like I'm working backwards or just not getting very far, it's because I am. I found out a few things, man, that I did in the wrong order. Number one, I put the brick ledge pieces up almost, well, when I put the rest of the forms up. You save that for dead last. It's way too hard to dig the beams out, even if you're doing it by shovel. I ended up having to dig my beams out a lot deeper than I was expecting and had to rent a trencher. So to get in with the trencher, I for sure had to take all the little boards around the edge down to get the trencher in there. Next, I had to, some of my plumbing was in the way. So some of the copper was okay, I could just kind of bend that around and get it out of the way. But the PVC in places, I just cut it out. It doesn't take near as long to redo the PVC as it does to dig these trenches. Next thing, I got caught by the rain. I was really worried, but I got plastic down over the top of everything and didn't have too many problems with cave-ins. You see, like that corner right there did cave in a little bit, and it did the same thing in a few other places, but not nearly as bad as I was worried that it might. But like I say, mainly I got the whole thing covered with the plastic, same vapor barrier that you put down just before your rebar, and that helped a lot. I've added a lot of beams than I originally planned to. My brother pointed out this weakness. When you have an L-shaped house like this right here, there's a real weakness right here in this corner, and you really need to run your beams all the way across, that way and that way, all the way down. I was planning to do that one, but then I had this one going right here because that's where the back wall of the garage is going to be. Yeah, my brother was looking at some other houses. He noticed that sometimes they put a shallow dog leg in there, like tilting over 15 degrees or so and then cutting back in. But I had already started cutting this one out way over there in that direct 90 degree bend. It wouldn't have stressed up very well, so I went ahead and cut this beam on in, and then I cut a new beam right down the middle of the garage too. It's hard to see looking straight up at it, but I cut that all the way down the middle of the structure just to give more support that way, and then tied this one in, this beam on across into that one, so it has a good cantilever on it. Other than that, all I have to say is save plumbing for last also, because when I was using the trencher, you can't get corners, or you get backed along the side of something with it and then you can't go past, so then you have to dig out all this stuff all up in there. I had to dig out by hand anyway, even though I rented the trencher for 2 days at $150 a day. I am about ready to pressure test with the water. I've brought my water line in and hooked it up and put a shutoff valve right there. I have the line continuing on with a cap on it out that way in case I want to add a water faucet outside later, further down the way, since we might want to put a garden out there someday. I haven't pressured it up yet because some of my joints I don't think are, and you're bending the copper down here, boy, you really have to crimp it down tight to get the solder to fill the gap and make that watertight. So I'm a little bit worried about some of my other joints too. I'm not very good at this yet, so I'm trying to kind of put an extra cap of solder on the joints, and then because hopefully when I do pressure test it, it won't leak, because if it does leak, then it'll be a pain getting all the water out of the pipes and being able to get back in there to add more solder if I have to.